All right, so before I start this review, I want to be sure to give a shout out to the Alamo Drafthouse for giving me one of the most wondrous experiments. I'm sorry, not experiments. Wondrous experiences that I've ever had in the movie theater. I mean, this was my first time ever being at an Alamo Drafthouse, and when I tell you they take the movie going experience seriously, they take it seriously. I absolutely love it. I mean, first of all, they have a no talking, no phone policy. They will kick you out if they need to, which I absolutely love that. They make sure that when that show time starts, when the movie started at 7:45. So when that 7:45 hits, if you are late to the show, you are not getting in to disturb the experience. Hey, you got to be on time. I love that. And on top of that, the service was damn phenomenal. Like they killed it. And that bill was pretty damn expensive too. But I ain't even gonna lie to you. I wasn't even mad at it. It was worth it. Alamo Drafthouse is one of the best places to watch a movie. I'm so glad I got to experience that and watch this movie in the Alamo Drafthouse. And on top of that, they really gave off vibes sometimes that if you do talk during the movie or if you disturb the movie going experience in any sort of way for anybody else, they'll probably do what Michael Fassbender did in this movie and kill you in a very horrific way. That's a joke, by the way, but it might be a bad joke, but it's a joke nonetheless. They're not going to kill you. They're just going to kick you out, and you'll probably feel stupid. But nonetheless, guys, this is The Killer. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review for The Killer, starring Michael Fassbender, Tilda Swinton, Charles Parnell, I think her name is Sophie Charlotte, and was directed by none other than David Fincher. And our story follows Michael Fassbender playing this assassin who basically on a job goes wrong where he misses his target. He gets back to his hideout, finds out that, I'm going to call her his lover, or at least somebody he genuinely cares about, has been brutally attacked, and now he is on this revenge mission, but it's not a revenge mission that you've normally seen where somebody's just hell-bent on killing everybody in their path. No, this guy is very strategic about it. He doesn't want emotions to get in the way, and he's really doing his best to make sure that he's sticking to the keys and the values that he has built to be one of the best assassins possible, and that's not get so emotionally attached. He wants to make sure that emotions are not getting so caught up in this, and he's not leaving a messy trail behind. He's doing this very carefully, and basically we're just following his it's a revenge movie, but it's in a way that is paced very slowly, and to the point where it's like he's being very careful and he's thinking 4 or 5 steps ahead of everyone else, or at least 4 or 5 steps ahead, in order to make sure he is not being messy. And what I mean by messy is just leaving a trail of bodies behind, like we see, John Wick and other assassin movies like that. This ain't John Wick. This guy is much different than that. He is moving at a much slower pace, and honestly, I'm going to get into what I liked and what I didn't like about the movie, but I'm definitely going to talk about what I liked first, so let's get into it. Alright, so starting with what I liked about the film, or honestly, I'm going to be real, I love this part of the film, Michael Fassbender. Michael Fassbender as this character, the killer, I'm just going to call him, he was incredible. And I mean, honestly, credit to David Fincher for making this character, and I just loved how precise and calculated this guy was. And honestly, from the very beginning of this film, you are literally just in the mind of this character as he sits and he's waiting on his target to show up, and he's explaining to you that I am not your typical John Wick, your typical just run-of-the-mill, I'm going to kill everybody in my path type of assassin. He is someone who legitimately wants to be a ghost. Or as he puts it, in the 21st century, it's hard to go undetected, so you just need to be not memorable. And he's doing his best to be not memorable. He's trying to stay out of the way, and he is letting you know that this job is one where you need a vigorous amount of patience and calmness, and you have to be just in the right mindset at all times to be able to do the things that he wants to do successfully. His like tagline, or I'm gonna call it his slogan at this point, was like stick to the plan, anticipate, don't improvise, trust no one, never yield an advantage, fight only the battle you're paid to fight, forbid empathy is weakness, and weakness is vulnerability. I Love that. This guy has so many different lines and one-liners in this movie that are absolutely brilliant. And the one thing I definitely enjoyed was the way he was just like, I don't give a fuck. And then that's really what he's fighting throughout this entire movie, because someone he loves or cares about very genuinely is attacked, and he's trying to fight that feeling to not give a fuck. He's trying to basically not give a fuck. He's doing his best to just carry out this mission in a way where he's not going to just make a mess of everything and leave a trail of bodies, and so that somebody can find him, and he his cover's blown and stuff like that. And like I said, tremendous credit to Michael Fassbender for pulling this character off so brilliantly, so perfectly. I absolutely adored just watching him play this character, watching this guy think out his scenarios, watching how carefully this guy moves through different scenarios. And this, like I said, this is not your typical assassin movie, which I will talk about in, I keep saying that, but I only keep reiterating that because, like I said, it's just not a movie where, at least for me, I was kind of expecting a lot more bodies to be dropping in this movie. But although the kills are very damn cool, I was expecting a lot more action in the movie, which it's not. It's lacking it, but it's done in a very David Fincher way, to where it's not like the focal point of everything. Really, what the focal point is the way this man is going about killing the people he needs to kill, and getting the job done the way he needs to get it done, so that he doesn't feel like he's emotionally getting too attached to what's going on. Although somebody very personal to him has been attacked, he is hell-bent on making sure it doesn't happen to them again, but he needs to make sure that he is not losing himself in the process and just letting emotions get in the way, and because all of that becomes just ridiculous. And Michael Fassbender does it brilliantly. He just pulls it off so well. I loved seeing Michael Fassbender is honestly one of my favorite actors. He is easily, him and James McAvoy are easily the best parts of the X-Men. I'm going to say post-trilogy, just the, it's not a trilogy anymore because of Dark Phoenix, but Michael Fassbender was easily the best thing about Dark Phoenix, because Dark Phoenix is just trash. But I love Michael Fassbender. Dude is a phenomenal actor. He did such a great job in this film. I have to give credit to David Fincher, because David Fincher did a brilliant job in this movie. I'll say this: the cinematography is gorgeous. The movie is so beautiful, and the way that the world around him is built, it's literally built to this character. It's like, honestly, I feel like we're seeing this world the way this character sees the world. Just very sleek, stylistic, and just trying to be as non-memorable as possible. Not saying that the cinematography is non-memorable, but it's just like he's really doing his best to stay out of the way. And David Fincher makes sure he highlights this character's values and methods in every single scene. Like, they're being very careful with the way they're showing you stuff, with the way they're presenting things, with the way things are placed in the background, in the front, and just, I love the way this movie looked. This movie was very beautiful to look at. I love David Fincher's direction on it. And on top of that, Tilda Swinton, although she's not in the movie for very long, brilliant. She was brilliant. Tilda Swinton was great. I'll say this: if I had to add something to what I didn't like about the film, or wish I would have, or what didn't necessarily resonate with me, I wish I would have had more Tilda Swinton in this movie. This movie needed more Tilda Swinton, and personally, I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't necessarily want to get into too much, because I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but I feel like this movie needed more Tilda Swinton. I just needed something. I just needed more, because there wasn't enough. She just left me wanting so much more from her character. Another guy I have to highlight, Charles Parnell. So glad I know this guy's name now, because he was in Top Gun Maverick and Mission Impossible 7. Let me explain something to you. Anytime this guy shows up in a movie, no matter what he is saying, just be ready to be completely locked into whatever the fuck this guy is saying. This guy is like the Mahershala Ali of actors. And what I mean by that is everything this guy says, including Mahershala Ali, is just the coolest thing ever. It just sounds so cool. It's so calm. It's so non-phased. Like, this dude is just freaking awesome. Charles Parnell is amazing in the film. Honestly, a lot of the actors do a very good job. I don't necessarily know the actress's name, but she plays Charles Parnell's assistant. Loved that entire scene, and I know I'm probably going to contradict myself on a lot of I love once I get to my issues with the film, or what necessarily didn't resonate with me. But as far as I'm concerned, everybody in this movie gave great performances. There is a very good action scene in this movie. I will say it's not anybody's fault, but the way that this movie was being praised and the way that everybody was coming out saying, "Oh my God, this is one of the best action sequences I've seen all year. This is, oh my God, it was so beautifully shot," and blah 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 and all this other stuff, which it was beautifully shot for sure. It's not one of the best action sequences I've seen all year. John Wick 4 definitely still did it better, but I think I'm just used to more of a body pile up. Thank you, John Wick, for spoiling me for that with that. But the actions, there's a very, very good action scene in here, and it's what I really, really liked about the film was the fact that it was from a very realistic tone, a very realistic perspective of someone who, if you were Michael Fassbender's size and you're fighting a guy 3 times the size of you, this is how this fight would play out. Like, this is what you would make. Like, you're not, no matter how skilled you are at fighting, like, this dude's super fucking strong, and you're just going to have to be able to take him down some way, somehow. And that is played out amongst that action scene very well. Now, I don't necessarily want to say this is what I didn't like about the film. I'm just going to say this is what did not register with me, or sit with, like, it, what did I say? It didn't work for me. That's the best way to put it. The pacing of this movie. The pacing of this movie is super slow, although it is very justified because, like I said, in the very beginning, this character explains to you how he does business, how patient you have to be, how just calm and just how calculated you have to be, and you can't necessarily rush these things. You can't just move very quickly or else you're going to mess things up. You have to be very precise, you have to be very careful, you have to be stealthy, and in a way where you cannot be quote unquote unmemorable. But the pacing of this movie for me did not work whatsoever because it is super slow, and I was okay with that at first, but I was expecting the pacing to pick up, and it just never did. It just, this little continuous little circle right here that I'm making, that never goes any faster. And now I will say this, credit to the film, because like I said, they justified the pacing of the film okay, I can stop doing that. They justified the pacing of the film very well with each and every character, because you can tell that in this world all of the assassins are like this. They are very precise, they are very careful, they don't try to just make a mess and leave a trail of bodies behind so cops and people can start sniffing into their business and find them. They are very precise on how they go about business. So the pacing of the movie is justified. It just didn't necessarily work for me. I was expecting at some point for this thing to pick up, or at least that's why I don't necessarily want to say there's a lack thereof of action, because there are sequences where the action is very good, but then it's just like he's very quick and precise about his kills. So it's not, it's like, it's more so just a quick moment of, whoo, damn, that's what happened, shit, oh, fuck. Like something like that, like just something real quick, and then you're back to going back to your steady and stealthy self. But the movie, like I said, justifies the pace. Just didn't necessarily work for me. Now I will say, on my second and third viewings of this movie, since it's coming out on Netflix on Friday, maybe the pacing, maybe now that I know that this movie is just going to be that one pace the entire time, I may enjoy it a little bit more. But for me, yeah, the pacing just didn't work at all. That's my only issue with the movie, truly. It's just paced very slowly. And I honestly, it might have been due to the fact that I had a pretty bad headache in the movie too. It didn't mess me up to the point where I couldn't enjoy the movie, because I really did like it a lot. And I was pretty tired, but so excuse me. I was pretty tired during the movie, so the pacing of the movie was not helping me stay awake. It was, and Michael Fassbender's voice is so calm and soothing. It kind of put me to sleep. So thank God that this place had bottomless refills. Shout out to the Alamo Drafthouse once again for having bottomless refills on that Coke, because Michael Fassbender's voice was kind of putting me to sleep. But on my second and third viewings, I can see myself now knowing that this is the continuous pace of the film. I'll enjoy it a lot more. I'll also say this. I kind of feel like I overhyped this movie for myself because of all the reviews that I was seeing on Twitter and the I'll say the the noise, the buzz, that's the word, the buzz that this movie was getting from a lot of people and just how they were hyping it up. And I wanted to absolutely love this film, and I think I was a little disappointed because I did not love it. I just really, really liked it. And I think the more I watch this film, I think I will start to maybe get into that I love it phase, because truly I had to let this movie sit with me after the credits. I couldn't do it out of the theater reaction because my head was hurting and whatever. I couldn't do it out of the theater reaction, but I'm glad I did it because I really wanted to let the movie sit with me for a second, and now that it has, I really, really liked it. I wanted to love it because it's David Fincher. Like, David Fincher has made some of my favorite films of all time: The Social Network, Gone Girl, Fight Club. I mean, David Fincher. Come on now. Seven, David Fincher. But here, it's just the pacing really, really didn't work for me. It was pretty slow. And maybe on my second and third viewing, I will appreciate the pacing a little more because, like I said, it's justified. I can't be mad at the pacing of the. I mean, it didn't work for me, but I can't be too mad at it because it's very justified about why this movie is moving at this particular speed, because this is how the assassins move, or at least this is how Michael Fassbender's character is moving throughout the film, at this pace, at this speed, and he's not picking it up for you, me, or anybody else in the damn movie or in the damn theater that wants him to pick it up. He's going to move at this continuous pace. But overall, guys, this is a very, very, I don't want to hype it up too much, very, very good movie. I really enjoyed it. I wanted to love it. Didn't necessarily get there, but I really, really liked it. I loved Michael Fassbender's performance. Loved Tilda Swinton's, can't call it a cameo, because, I mean, she was in there for more than a cameo's runtime or length time, but I loved Tilda Swinton in this movie. Charles Parnell. Actors were great. The kills were great. The pacing just didn't necessarily work for me, but it's a damn good movie, damn good performance by Michael Fassbender. Very good directing job by David Fincher. David Fincher did a really good job at directing this movie, and I can honestly see myself probably by the end of the year loving this movie a lot more than I do now. But as for now, I'm going to give this movie, for all those reasons and so many more, I'm going to give The Killer a 3.75 out of 5 stars. Alright guys, so The Killer, have you seen it? Which maybe a lot of people haven't because it comes out on Netflix on Friday, and I'm sure people didn't even know it was in theaters. Or it may not even be in your area. But The Killer, if you have seen it, what did you think about it? Look, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that stuff and so much more, guys. I really do appreciate it. Look, this is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.